Hello again. My name is Seby again. And the last talk that I did was about why I'm bullish on Bittensor, specifically the industrial layer of Bittensor. And now we're talking about how my team and I are making that possible through Subnet 46. It's called RESI. And our focus right now is building the real estate oracle. Uh, the short slogan there is that Chainlink has the luxury of pricing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, maybe not Solana, that's more Pyth, but Bitcoin, Ethereum. Every Bitcoin, every Ethereum is the same. So you have dynamic prices on a static asset. The challenge with real estate is that you have a dynamic asset and dynamic prices per market. So it's a big problem, and if we can solve it, there's a lot of upside. Let's get into it. So it's quite inevitable that everything of value will be tokenized. Hopefully I'm not blocking too much here, but we have Vlad from Robinhood talking about tokenization, Sir Larry Fink talking about tokenization, and we already have, I didn't put stablecoins here because this chart would be like 4 small lines, but you have stablecoins, you have treasuries, private credit, private equity, everything's being tokenized, but the luxury each asset class has is there's an oracle, right? So there must be a provable and ideally permissionless pricing mechanism. We call this an oracle. All right. So the problem with real estate is we don't have this. Like I said, dynamic asset with dynamic markets. Real estate is not catching or finding its momentum because there is no way to trust what you're buying. So let me go over here. Basically, you have a property. That property gets tokenized. No questions asked. You just have to verify that you own it. And the outcome is you have a listing for your property with no property inspection, no validated images, and first-party pricing. So I, the seller, am saying, I want you to buy my property for this price. And if you look at for sale by owner prices, which is essentially what's going on here, they never move. They never sell. And we're stuck in this for sale by owner phase in real estate, which has to change. Oh, my God. So the solution is having a robust oracle that can, and that is RESI intelligence, that can be an inspector, be the appraiser, validate the title so that a transaction can happen end to end, right? Forget lending for now. Forget real estate agents for now. You can sell your own house to a pool of investors seamlessly by going through this flow instead. So we have a property. That property gets pushed through to RESI where we validate images. We validate the market price of this property. And protocols such as Chainlink or such as Proppy are able to access this price feed, these data feeds from RESI that are trustable to provide these tokenized assets. As now you have a third-party reference, right? The example I give is Aave doesn't price Bitcoin. Chainlink does it. A Compound, Silo, none of these platforms priced assets. The Bitcoin, Chainlink does. So we're attacking a $300 trillion market. As I mentioned, all of those industries. But let's keep going. I think we have a minute or two left. It's broken down into USA, which is our focus. And this is all on-chain. Then global, on-chain real estate activity. This is all really small. It's all basically a company called Rootstock and another one called Proppy. And then you have the entire world of real estate at $300 trillion. And nobody is innovating. There's been no innovation since the MLS. And the MLS is like from the 1800s, like late 1800s. It's quite insane. The only innovation there is it went digital. Whoop-de-doo. So RESI as a service is a data API. It is a pricing oracle, and it's also infrastructure for builders of real estate applications. All the value drives back into our alpha. Every dollar of revenue we generate goes back into alpha. And it's as simple as that. The end product is one API to rule them all. We're not saying that we are perfect, but we're saying that in time we will be the best. And that is because we're building on Bittensor and because all of our focus is on one specific industry, right? Ridges has the highest benchmark because they focus on one specific industry, one benchmark, and RESI is on its way in that direction. The team, pretty stacked team, I gotta say. It's myself. I've built and sold a prop tech company in the past. My CTO who worked at Rheology, our Bittensor swarm of miners. So we basically have instant distribution to the top mines in the world. And then some of our investors, advisors here at the bottom with DSV, Michael White, and Adam from Roundtable, who's a good guy. And yeah, so the call to arms in this case is mining. If you're smart enough and you can collect data, you can make models that predict property prices. We invite you to mine. Staking. This is my favorite one for you guys. Buy the token. So that is staking. You basically get imagine having ownership of the MLS. That is essentially what we are doing. And embedded in that is ownership in a consortium of appraisal, lending, and inspection companies. And then applications, right? Our scaling mechanism is inviting other builders to build on RESI. So whether it's tokenized loans, tokenized property platforms using our API, or if you're really great and you really believe in yourself, propose a subnet to us. We will give you some of our minor emissions if you can make it worth our while. And so these are the ways that you can get involved with RESI. And that's it. If anybody has any questions, would love to answer them now. Thank you.
Like you said before, we were saying, how the appraisals?
Yes.
So how does it work? What?
Yeah. So the way appraisals work on RESI are, think about Zestimate, right? Everybody's seen the Zestimate. The problem with the Zestimate is that it doesn't look at the property, the condition of the property, right? And all the automatic appraisal tools are only looking at property data. It's a huge problem, right? Zillow invested, lost $4 billion from 2018 to 2021 doing this, buying property from their Zestimate. Meanwhile, Open Door has made billions of dollars buying and selling property because they're actually inspecting the properties and looking at it. Well, what our perfect use case is and how we attack that $300 trillion market is by having each property inspected and appraised by way of the homeowner. So if I want to sell my house, I walk through my house with a camera. We use Score to Subnet 44 to do this. And I'm able to, I, as the investor, am now able to make a judgment call on, okay, where's the property data? What's the condition of this property? Is this person screwing me? And if the answers are all in your favor, make that investment. So on all the simulations we've run, you need a 2 to maximum 5% deviation from true market price to make iBuying work at scale. So that's why Open Door is so valuable, right? That's why it has skyrocketed, because it's like you buy a great asset. And yeah, so pretty soon we'll have dashboards showing that instead of having like an upward chart, it's going to be a downward chart because we're validating against the delta of price on 1,000 properties for each miner's model. So that's how the appraisals work and why it works.
As a miner, I'm validating the quality of that video.
As a miner, you're taking in that video. We do the validation of the video on our own and with Score, right? So then the miners use our API to get that data. From there, the miner is building a model that takes in property data, this property condition data, as well as market sentiment, right? They're looking at the Fed rates. They're looking at the hurricane reports. They're looking at everything. And that's why we wanted to make it not an agent competition, but a model competition. So then in the end, like our company actually accrues value where the model is the moat, right? The world is, or the saying in this world is the model is the moat. So that's why and how we're doing it.
But are you validating the video? Is it just a friend's house? Oh, it's so nice.
locating them.
But like, how are they recording the video? Like, are they using your
Yes.
spot?
Yeah.
So like you're like taking in geographic data, like from the device as they record the video. So you're
Exactly. Then we're using a subnet to see if it's made by AI. If not, cool. But these are some things we really don't want to push through a subnet. Not, like I said, not on my last one. Not everybody and everything has to be a subnet. So it's basically we validate that it's a real video. Then we give that to our miners. And that's if we're doing a competition. That's if it's training data. In the end, we're taking the best model and running competitions every day and then productizing that model. So really it is we take in that data and then we run that top model and then that's it.
is it just yes.
Essentially, yes.
Hello, all you verify their properties can without the data. And we should calculate like uses a collaboration the loan, how much a percentage you do based upon their pre-sold of the
Great question. So that's why we're building the infrastructure to price. So I'll go backwards to the front of your question. The first part of that was what are our lending terms really? What down payment do we require? We don't do any of the financing ourselves. We build the tech for other lending companies that will have their own terms, their own marketing, their own growth desires to do that. So they just know that they're getting valuable data and that property. Now going to your other question, that property is owned by that person. It is in this area and it is in this certain condition. Right now you get none of that. If I could post the property on Proppy or anywhere else, there could be a squatter living in there and you wouldn't know. You're just exit liquidity at that point, right? Same with like Lofty and all these other protocols. I think EstateX is another one DNA Fund has invested in. That's an exciting idea, but if we can get them better data, they can grow faster. And then clean title. Clean title is simply a mechanism of validating documents. Some things need to be a subnet or sub-subnet, some don't. So we're actually deciding which direction we go because the valuation and inspection should be a subnet or subnets. We're undecided about title. But yeah, title is essentially a query to the county records. Chris, you had another question?
How do you monetize this so that you trade value back into the subnet?
Beautiful question. And the answer is coming up. It should be coming up. The answer is we take a percentage of each transaction. So we have data, where there's data companies in real estate. Think Zillow, where they just show the data. Then you have fractionalized real estate platforms, EstateX. And then you also have like Open Door. And we will charge them per transaction. So instead of charging a 1 to 6% fee, we charge 0.2%. And that's essentially 20% of these platforms charge 1% on chain, 1 to 2%. So we take 20% of that. And that turns out quite nice for everybody involved. And it's not as painful of a product. We're not like saying like, hey, it's $20K to get set up. So you know it's there for you. And we'll charge you as you win. Any other questions? On to the next one. Thank you very much. Oh, Taco.
Are there any other Web3 housing protocols that you're working with as well or looking at?
Yeah, so a big one. It's called Commertize. Commertize is for commercial real estate. And they're in the process in Q1 to do $600 million in commercial listings, all in California. So they've only done work in California. There's $600 million of property, but they messaged us saying, thank you for building this thing. Like no one trusts us. Like we're just launching. We're expecting these people to deposit millions of dollars through our platform. And we'd be screwed without something like RESI that is a validated third party source of truth. But yeah, thank you again.